Hey guys, Justin here from Jig Reacts. I'm going to react to YouTubers that I'm a huge fan of. I've actually been watching their videos for a while and they're very good. I think the first video I heard about them or seen was when they went to like South America to some pyramids and it took like 4 days. Believe it or not, a lot of their videos have influenced me, like the one with the cold water. I watched that years ago. And Windhoff, and I actually do the cold shower thing now. So I'm gonna react to a video now. I was not expecting to react to this video. I actually watched it already, but I want to get at least a clip of this, and I thought it was so cool, just because we take for granted, which seems so normal even to myself. I'm from the U.S., so the passport, going to another, trying to get a visa and all that stuff hasn't really been an issue for myself, and I think we take that for granted. I've traveled a lot actually, and I've never really had the issue. The only time I've ever gotten a visa was going to like China or something like that. But other than that, I've always had a pretty smooth process. And watching this video, this yesterday video, it made me change my whole perspective, and I think that was the point. And but yeah, let's go right to it right now.
Welcome to Yes Theory 2023.
Woo!
Something I realized throughout my years of traveling with Amar is that not every passport is born the same. As we've traveled around...
Okay, so I knew that not every passport was the same, but I did not realize watching these videos with Amar that when he travels, I always thought like he had a US passport or something like that. But this is why I watch these things, so I can educate myself. So let's go right to it again.
The globe and back, Amar hasn't always been able to come with us, and if he did, it always required a lot more work to make sure he could. The reason being is that he holds an Egyptian passport, and that's not an easy one to travel with. Those of us who were born with a stronger passport can never truly understand what it feels like to be rejected entry without a visa by most countries. And even when a visa is acquired, the process itself tends to be scrutinizing and not very dignified.
I need to prove 1,000 things just so that I can move, just so I can go anywhere. And it's always such a condescending attitude. No matter how nice and warm and like complete I have everything, it's always just met with such skepticism.
And so about 2 years ago, we found out a rather costly solution to that problem.
I just want to say, Thomas has a really good voice. I think I could see why he always narrates all these videos, but if you're watching, hey, good voice.
The one that certainly had the potential to change his life. In 2020, Amar began the process of applying for a citizenship and a passport in a small island country in the Caribbean by the name of St. Kitts and Nevis.
This is why I like watching this, because I myself love to travel, and I would never have looked for an island like that. I think when I watched the video, and I recommend everyone to watch this whole thing. It's a lot longer video, but I recommend to watch it. After you finish watching this video, go straight to that video, because I think that video was where like a founding father was born. I think like Christopher Columbus was on there. Based on their video, that's what they said in it, but I don't know. Maybe I'll look more into it, but stuff like this is really interesting to me.
To be honest, we hadn't really heard of that country before. So what is so special about this citizenship that it would cost a minimum of $150,000 to apply for? St. Kitts and Nevis, alongside a handful of other countries around the world, have a process called citizenship by investment, allowing people from anywhere in the world to invest in the country's economy or buy real estate in exchange for qualifying to apply for citizenship. This particularly attracts people from countries with less advantageous passports who can afford it to be able to travel more freely. To put freedom into context for you, Amar's Egyptian passport would only allow him to visit 53 countries visa-free versus 157 with the St. Kitts passport. So
we take the passport for granted, at least in the US, because that never even came to mind of like how hard it is to enter a country. And yeah, that's really crazy for me, but let's keep going.
In September of 2021, Amar crossed into Europe for the first time in his life without needing a visa. A big part of this dream was also for him as a dual citizen to be able to go back home to Egypt for the first time in 5 years. Egypt has a law that for years has prevented Amar from returning to his home country. because if he did, he would have to enlist in the army or be on standby for draft until he turns 30. But by obtaining this dual citizenship, the Egyptian army would in theory not accept him for service, and he'd be able to go back home before he turns 30. But in 2022, Ammar fully committed himself to the creation of our now award-winning documentary feature film, Project Iceman, which we got to share with our community in a sold-out world tour.
Hey, where was my invite? I'm just kidding.
And so, as 2022 and the premiere tour were coming to an end, we planned an epic...
Actually, I think they did this in LA. I think they did post about it, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll keep going. I know I think they in their like 2 videos or 3 videos ago, they had talked about it for sure. I think I remember them like taking pictures with like ice behind them or something. I think it was like, yeah. Hey, see, you can tell I'm a fan. See.
Comeback trip for Ammar's return to Egypt, and more importantly, for him to finally reconnect with his family and his roots.
Inshallah, within 3 weeks, I will get to go back to Egypt for the first time in 5 years.
Okay, I'm gonna end it right there. That's really cool. There's a little twist that happens, and I do recommend to check that out. I want to say thank you guys. Please subscribe. Please like this. Please comment. I think this is such a cool video. If you're not a fan of Yesterday, I do recommend check it out. It's very documentary-ish. If you like those, I love those. Those are the things I just like love to learn, little new things, new cultures. That to me is very, very, very cool. So yeah, hey, check this video out. Like I said, link in bio. Please subscribe. Let's talk and tell me what you guys think, and talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.